Welcome back to another episode of JA Talks. My name is Jasam, and this is where we talk about the news that was. And so now our top stories are for today. Usain Bolt saga continues, and the head of FSC resigns. Now stay tuned, guys, for more news in details. Let's go! Okay, so we begin with the news regarding Usain Bolt and the saga continuing. So now according to the Jamaica Gleaner, so Sprint legend Usain Bolt has given the fraud hit investment firm Stocks and Securities Limited 10 days to pay over approximately $2 billion that was said to be in his account up to October 2022. Now last week SSL disclosed that several of its clients were allegedly fleeced of millions of dollars in a local and foreign currencies given to them to invest. Now, Bolt's attorney Linton Gordon wrote to the SSL on Monday, January 16, threatening a lawsuit if the 100-meter record holder's money is to be paid over in 10 days of that date. Now, according to the letter, the 36-year-old has a balance or had a balance of 2 billion Jamaican dollars or US 12.7 million as at October 31st, 2022. The figure plummeted to $1.8 million or US $12,000, which both checked his accounts after an ex-employee linked to the scheme alerted him on January 11th. The SSL reported that it discovered the fraud in early January and that the ex-employee, a wealth advisor, had been implicated. She gave a statement on January 7th. The Financial Services Commission (FSC), which regulates investment house, took temporary management of SSL on Tuesday, a day after appointing a special auditor to the firm. But the FSC is facing scrutiny after the Gleaner today reported on a February 2017 agency report in which staff described the SSL has operated a culture of non-compliance and mismanagement of clients' funds. The report details numerous alleged failings of SSL, including the failure to submit audited accounts, providing misleading figures or of clients, and having widespread inconsistencies in records of clients' funds. Okay, then, so therefore we're seeing here now in this report that night has turned to day. Basically speak, to sum it all up, to sum up this report and all of what would have taken place, night has turned to day, and the ugly sins of these financial institutions are being revealed. And not just the ugly sins of these financial institutions, but I would also add that the negligence of the FSC has also been revealed. I would have noticed, because when we were young growing up, I recall that there were several advertisements about investment, and the FSC would advertise that whenever you're going to invest, whenever you're going to make an investment, ensure that the company is registered with the FSC, right? And so in my mind, that would have created the impression that yes, Jamaica, we have different regulatory bodies, they're working, they're coming through with a fine-tooth comb, so therefore there should be no form of or there should be no room or no error for fraudulent activity to take place. And if it is that there are fraudulent activities that would have taken place, it would have been dealt swiftly, because the image that the FSC, the Financial Services Commission, would have given us is that this is an institution that combs through with a fine-tooth comb. This is an institution that says, hey, we take our job seriously. Obviously that's not the case. Obviously we were all wrong, and so obviously the advertisement that they would have shown on TVJ are misleading, or is misleading. It is definitely misleading, and to be honest with you, it is extremely sad. It is sad, right? And I will add that I think part of the FSC being lackadaisical, we know as Jamaicans that public sector workers' jobs are safe. I dare anybody tell me it's a lie, me I tell. Public sector workers' jobs are very safe. You can come to work late almost every day and the man will run you down. Right? Because of the government, and the FSC is a government company, right? Under the Ministry of Education. Sorry, the Ministry of Finance rather. So because it's a government company, so therefore persons tend to be more lethargic or lackadaisical. Not that you don't do your work, but persons tend to drag their foot more because guess what? Them pay solid, them pay secure, them job secure. You understand? So persons tend to do whatever the hell they want to do. I've seen this before in the health industry. I've seen this before with the tax administrator authority in my personal experience. You understand? So that is one factor of it, right? But what I find is most appalling is the fact that the SSL would have showcased that, hey, will have given some red flags basically, because the February 2017 report that would have taken place, where again, this is what it says: the report details numerous alleged failings of the SSL, including the failures to submit audited accounts, providing misleading figures or for clients, and having widespread inconsistencies in records of client funds. And you're telling me that this is back in 2017. The FSC would have seen this taking place and would have done nothing. There's a lot of things to break down, right? There's a lot of things to really uncover, right? This is literally literature to me, right? There are a lot of questions to be asked, because first of all, the management of SSL is pointing fingers to the one individual and saying that they would have they said that they would have discovered this in January. Usain Bolt discovered this in October, and they're just discovering this in January, right? However, the report is saying that on numerous occasions, the SSL has reported inaccurate figures to the Financial Services Commission. So therefore, it is not just the fault of the individual who would have committed the fraudulent act, but basically everybody should be fired. Well, the company will close down. Point blank period. The company will just close down, right? But everybody's at fault here. You're telling me, as the CEO or the head of the company, right? You're going to tell me that you did not know that inaccurate records have been submitted to the FSC back in 2017. You're telling me that you did not know any of that? You're going to tell me that you did not know? You are dumb, deaf, and blind to that? It's either you know and you're complicit, or you're also stealing, or you're done. You're incompetent for that work, for the job, and you're ignorant. And I greatly doubt that it is a case that you are incompetent. But just please say, is either you're a thief or you're complicit. You're very much complicit, and so the entire management needs to be fired. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth. The entire management needs to be fired, because this is extremely sad. And then on top of it, I'm going to talk about the FSC in my other report. I will touch base on them, because they're the next one. But the fact that there has been numerous reports means that everybody would have known about the irregularities taking place at the SSL. Everybody would have been complicit, or either they're participating in it. And so, as the investigation takes place and as the investigation continues, we are hoping to see, and I'm sure we will see, more will be revealed. More of the ugliness and more night shall turn to day, and more of that is going to be revealed. And it may be the case that more arrests may be made. This is extremely ugly. This is indeed ugly, and I don't know what is going to happen. I know that, yeah. And I think there was in the video I was trying to, let me see if I don't know if I get the video, but I was trying to get the video because apparently the lady, she's in a wheelchair, the person who allegedly committed the fraud, she's in a wheelchair. So I wonder, me don't know her, and she's ill as well, she has a health problem. Was that the reason you fleeced and you robbed that amount of money? Does your health problem require that amount of money? My thing is, like, even if you're going thief with conscience, like, oh my gosh, if you had stolen $100,000, again, let me make it abundantly clear, let me make the disclaimer, I am in no way, shape or form supporting theft. I'm in no way, shape or form supporting, stealing. But I'm saying if you had stolen, for example, $100,000, 100,000 US dollars, let me do my math and my calculation just a bit. One moment, let me see. 100,000 US dollars is equivalent to, I think it's 17,000, so 100,000 US dollars multiplied by 152 is equal to 15,200,000, $15,200,000 Jamaican dollars. As I stated, this is not a need, this is a greed. This is clearly greed. And I'm sure if you'd have taken $100,000, I don't even think Usain Bolt would ever watch that. Right? Obviously, it's going to create an alert when you take away majority of the man's money. Obviously. Right? And you're greedy. And again, I do hope that I don't care about, to be honest, I really don't care about your health problems. I really don't care. You should not have done it in the first place. You have knowledge of investment. You have knowledge of wealth creation. You are a wealth advisor. I would have hoped that you would have been practicing what you are preaching and creating your own wealth so that you're not rob the body of them on a wealth. So the fact that you are doing this is most duplicitous. It is disgusting, and I'm not sorry for you. I'm sorry. I am not. So let us see again how this is going to work out. We go again. All right, so we're gonna go ahead to the next story. Let's go. We continue with the news. Now, according to the Jamaica Gleaner, Everton McFarlane has resigned as Executive Director of the Financial Services Commission, FSC. Now, just days after the Gleaner exposed an FSC report that questioned the regulators' oversight of the fraud-hit Stocks and Securities Limited. The Bank of Jamaica Chief Prudential Officer Major Karen Burrell will act in that position. The FSC regulates investment houses, while the Bank of Jamaica oversees deposit-taking institutions such as commercial banks. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark announced Thursday that he has accepted Mr. McFarlane's resignation. It will take effect on January 30th, but he goes on leave January 20th. McFarlane took up the post in August of 2017. The FSC has been under scrutiny after the Gleaner on a Tuesday revealed that internal reports in which FSC staff flagged as a problematic institution that operated a culture of non-compliance and mismanagement of client funds. The report gave an assessment of SSL for the period of almost 6 years up to February 2016, but at a press conference on Wednesday, McFarlane dodged a series of questions on what happened after the date at each date, claiming confidentiality reasons. We are aware that there are a lot of questions that the public concerns. Now, questions, for instance, relating to the FSC's past actions, what we knew, when we knew it, what we did, but our ability to answer concerned questions at this point in time constrained. He said, seeking to preempt journalist McFarlane also said that the FSC found no reason to suspend or revoke the SSL's license. Okay guys, so I have a snippet of the press conference that would have taken place with the Financial Services Commission and the head of the Financial Services Commission answering certain questions, and so they weren't even able to answer the questions really. But anyways, take a look at the video clip and then I will come back with my commentary.
2017, 5.5 years prior, you had issues with the SSL. According to the FIB, as well as the police, and the statement from the concerned employee at SSL, her actions took place as far back as 2010. Based on that, I know you don't want to link the two up because you're trying to evade it, but I would like to ask you this question directly. As the head of the FSC, do you believe your organization's oversight has been lacking for the last 2010, almost 15 years?
I didn't get your name, sorry.
Sherman Campbell, Nationwide.
Sherman Campbell. Thank you. Mr. Campbell, be reasonable.
I don't think that's unreasonable. I'm not asking you to release anything regarding the company's
I
finances.
indicated,
I'm asking you if you, as the head of your organization, FSC, believes your entity has been lacking in its oversight.
Yeah, but that's,
just over 2020 and 2023, and asking, under these circumstances, do you believe your organization's oversight has been lacking?
I've outlined the parameters of
I'm not asking
my
for
response.
sir. I'm asking you if you believe your organization has been lacking.
Okay. All right, you take another question. Okay, thank you.
And this
Where do I even begin? Where do I even begin? So first of all, again, remember the report details numerous alleged failings of the SSL, including the failure to submit audited accounts, providing misleading figures for clients, and having widespread inconsistencies in record of client funds. And you're going to say that you found no reason to suspend or revoke SSL's license. So with all of these findings, you found no reason to suspend their license. With all of the misleading and the inaccuracies and the misrepresentation of funds, you're going to say that you found no reason to suspend or revoke their license. What has this organization been doing? What has it speaks volume. You can't make this up. This speaks volume of how they, what is happening? Like literally, what is happening? I understand why he needed to be terminated. Well, he resigned, but me feel like I said that Friday fine, but he just resigned for make it look so bad. As the head of the organization of FSC, you would have failed your mandate. And as a matter of fact, apparently, this has been taking place before he even came into, he would have taken up office. Right? This would have taken place before Mr. McFarlane would have taken place, or would have taken up office in August of 2017 rather. You can't make this up. You literally cannot make this up. And if it is that you, the governing body of the investment houses, are going to be lackadaisical in your work, you're the one who is supposed to hold them accountable. How are we supposed to invest? How are we supposed to have trust as citizens, as investors, as local investors? Because remember, when you have foreign investors, when they invest in our country, they take their money and they go abroad and they take it back to the host country. The purpose you're supposed to make a part of Jamaica, what Vision 2030 is to increase local investment where we as Jamaican citizens are investing in our own country so that we can grow our country. So when we make a profit or we get our dividends, we can spend it back in our country to grow the economy. But why would we want to do this? This is most discouraging. So they collect the check, they collect the big fat, of course, you are the head, you are the CEO of the FSC, so therefore you pay a toll, and you're there just collecting the money, but not doing anything. This is a clear example where a lot of persons, we care about the title and not the responsibility that comes with the title. To whom much is given, much is required, and he could not answer any of this. Mr. McFarlane could not answer any of these questions. Not one. It showed. As a matter of fact, the FSC had to apologize for the lackluster press conference that would have taken place. That's embarrassing. It is an embarrassment on the country, on the Ministry of Finance. It is an embarrassment of the Financial Services Commission. An embarrassment. I am embarrassed as a citizen. Because Usain Bolt, as a matter of fact, it's worldwide. BET a post, Mr. CNN a post, Mr. Fox News a post. You understand? This is worldwide. And so this is accessible to the internet. So therefore, when somebody looks, they're going to see the discrepancy that would have taken place. They would have seen how awful or how we can do work. Why would anybody want to invest in Jamaica? So not only does the SSL need to shut down and everybody need to fire, but apparently I almost want to say everybody else at the FSC want fire too. They want to change over. You're telling me that this would have taken, you would have seen signs from 2017 and not acted, or have acted very little? You don't see reason to, Steve Wonder could have seen this. You don't see any reason to suspend their license. Oh my gosh, this is disgusting. I am glad that this is, and I think what should take place is that the Auditor General, right, needs to take over, not the FSC, but the Auditor General needs to take over. And not just, well, the Auditor General can, I don't think mandatory and by law wouldn't have the ability to audit the SSL, but they need to audit the FSC. Yeah. Because if the head is acting like this, judge everybody else, the FSC needs to be audited. I'm sorry, they need to be audited. Corruption is rampant in Jamaica. Look at Vision 2030. We're in 2023. Vision 2030 is 7 years from now. 7 years from now, we need to uproot. It's ugly, and if you notice, as the days go by and as the report comes out, night continues to become day, and it becomes uglier and uglier, and we're seeing the incompetences of various individuals and how persons, no one is holding anybody accountable. The purpose of the FSC is to hold investment companies accountable for their actions. Clearly they're not. And who is holding Mr. McFarlane accountable? Who does he? He reaches out, he has to answer to the Minister of Finance. Did you remember Petrojam? And the scandal that would have taken place on the Petrojam? Remember, you know, that Andrew Wheatley had to resign. Andrew, and I almost felt sorry for Andrew Wheatley, and this is why I'll say this, because yes, Petrojam is underneath the Ministry of Energy, right, and Technology, and Andrew Wheatley did not directly participate in this, but he was crucified because this took place under his leadership. Even though, in all honesty, to tap the God truth, let us be honest and quite fair, right? This has been taking place regardless of administration, whether it be PNP or JLP. This was taking place even under the PNP administration as well. Corruption was taking place as well, right? And even though, right, Andrew Wheatley never necessarily have anything to do with this, he had to be fired because he had to resign. Well, they fired him, but he resigned because it never looked so bad. Anyways, he had to leave that post because it looked very bad under his ministry. Whose ministry does this look bad underneath, people? The FSC has to answer to the Ministry of Finance. So if we're going to hold everybody accountable, why Mr. Nigel Clark has the FSC not been held accountable? Oh, I just know when story come to bomb, you're talking, oh, you would have accepted his resignation to save face. The corruption that is the magnitude of corruption that is taking place, the belly, the inner belly that has been turned inward, outward, and it's showing up in Jamaica. It is disgusting, really and truly. That's all I really. It's very disgusting. So guys, let me know what you think about this. We are going to be following again on this saga. We want to know what is taking place, and so yeah, let us hope that something comes out of this, and let us hope that again Usain Bolt gets his money, and not just Usain Bolt, but the other 30 odd persons who would have lost their money. Let us hope that everybody gets back their money as well. Alright, so thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for joining another episode of JA Talks. My name is Jassam. It was my pleasure doing this episode for you guys. And always remember, never forget, your independence is the foundation of your liberation. Take care, guys.